I haven't left my apartment for 6 days already, and my city, my home, is about to crumble and burn at any given moment right now. Yeah, I love my life. Hey, political suppression, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite albums. And today, while I have time to enjoy my freedom where I can access youtube.com uh, freely, I will do an album review on the latest Drake mixtape, Dark Lane demo tapes. I really didn't plan to make this album review at all, and I'm not really excited to make this album review at all because I was never really a fan of Drake's, and I was never really a fan of his music. I thought his music was always pretty bland and pretty average. I mean, he did drop some pretty good music back in the days. Take Care is not a bad album. His mixtape, if you're reading this, it's already too late, is a somewhat low key but instrumentally solid mixtapes. And then immediately afterwards, we have Scorpion, which is an album that I did a full length review on, a double album filled with fillers and boring, unnecessary tracks, even though there are a couple of actual good songs, but they are completely overshadowed by a lot of dud songs. And then afterwards, we have a compilation album called Care Package, and it's not really a compilation album, but it's also a kind of compilation album, basically a compilation of his leaked songs and demos and bootlegs and just random songs all over the internet, and he just kind of grouped it all up into one album and a poorly cropped album cover that looks like it was made with MS Paint. Yeah, I wasn't too positive on that album either. I remembered giving it a 3 out of 10 because it was a really boring album. And then now we have this album, uh, Dark Lane demo tapes. And yeah, just like Care Package, it is basically a collection of leftovers, leaks, demos. Given the title of this mixtape, Dark Lane demo tapes, there are a lot of demos on this tapes, and it's actually pretty obvious because a bulk of the tracks on this album are underwritten. They are not produced really well, and it's not like I'm expecting some high quality production or some ambitious concept album, but I really don't see the point of releasing this thing because most of the tracks on this thing are just not really all that interesting or spectacular or all that worth releasing. There are a few good songs, however, like the album opener Deep Pockets, which has a pretty relaxing, soulful, fuzzy, woozy cloud rap instrumental. And then we have lyrics where Drake talks about how he wants to strive for a better life when he was younger, and he goes into detail describing his life when he was a kid. And then we have the track When to Say When. And while it is a really tame, really mild track, it has a pretty nice, glamorous soul sample that actually reminds me of that other song back in Scorpion. I forgot the name of that song, but I think it's the track is called Nice for What, and this track actually reminds me a lot of Nice for What, except it doesn't have the bounce, it doesn't quite have the flow or the energy. It's really tame. And then we have the lyrics. Basically, Drake, just writes another little rap song where he gives a bit of an update on his life, but then we have lyrics where he sort of makes references to Michael Jackson and his allegations, even though on his, I think, last album or last album, he had a song with Michael Jackson's vocals on it. It's just a really weird reference. And then we have all these internet speculations where, Drake is DMing this girl and that girl, and it's just such an odd reference to be made. We have the track Chicago Freestyle featuring Give On, and Give On provides some pretty nice, soulful singing in a lo-fi tone. But then we have the instrumentals itself, your average eerie synths, your very spacey trap beat, and it's also another really tame and mild track, which I don't find all that enjoyable. The track Not You Too featuring Chris Brown is a really boring, somewhat minimalist R&B trap and B track, and Drake and Chris Brown's performances, they have zero chemistry whatsoever. We have the track 2C Slide, which became another internet sensation. It's like Drake doesn't have enough internet hits, but a 2C Slide. Uh, it's just not a very good song as well. I find it really bland, watered down. The chorus is really monotone. It's like wallpaper. But of course, in order to make this track a hit, in order to force this track into a hit, Drake or whoever came up with this idea had to make this track a TikTok dancing sensation when the dance itself isn't really all that impressive or anything. The production of this track is demo quality, and the track is just so underproduced and underwritten. The track Desires featuring Future is another really underwhelming track. Not only is it an incredibly underwhelming, average generic trap rap song, we have the lyrics, which are really, really problematic. There are some pretty manipulative and uncomfortable lyrics here and there on this track. Like on one of the lines, Drake said he wants to put someone he likes somewhere where no one could find, somewhere remote, in a different environment. It's like Drake is trying to hide girls or something. Huh? That's really weird. Come on. The track Time Flies literally sounds the same with the track Desires, except it doesn't have a Future feature, nor the problematic lyrics. And we get some low-key singing, and the singing is incredibly monotone and robotic on this track. The next two tracks, Landed and D4L, are easily two of the best tracks on the entire mixtape. The track Landed actually has a lot of energy, the slightly reversed beat is actually pretty well produced, and the flow is absolutely catchy. And then we have the track D4L, which, if you don't know, is an anagram for Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Leap. And it features Future and Young Thug. Okay, it features Future and Young Thug. And for some reason, Drake, Future, and Young Thug actually have a lot of chemistry on the track. They sort of have vocal routines and trade-offs here and there, everywhere on this track, giving this track a lot of attitude, making this track super fun. The trap beats on this track are very busy and messy, but instead of making this track weird or inconsistent, given the very fun, kooky performances, it actually fits the performances and the delivery really well, especially during the Future verses where he goes brrr. It just makes this track super fun. It's like they're just having fun on the track, and they're not really caring about anything, which is pretty cool. And then afterwards, the mixtape continues to dive down. We have Pain 1993 featuring Playboi Carti, and it's your average minimalist trap rap track. And you'd think that given the Playboi Carti feature, we're gonna get a slightly more dreamy and psychedelic mix. Nope. And Carti's feature on this track is easily his worst feature yet. It's absolutely boring. And normally his thin baby auto-tuned delivery would match really well with, say, a really sappy love song like Tyler the Creator's Earthquake, except his baby delivery really did not fit the tone of the track in this case whatsoever. And once again, Drake and Playboi Carti have zero chemistry whatsoever, making them sound very disconnected and disjointed, to a point where, in contrast, Playboy Cardi actually sounds goofy and somewhat cartoony. The track Losses is another one of those low-key emotional trap rap songs about, Drake's relationship with his dad, except the lyrical descriptions of that relationship is so vague and so surface level, you really can't catch anything emotional or deeply thought-provoking at all. And we get this weird drum guitar intro to the track, which doesn't really do much. The track from Florida with Love is another one of those underwritten, sparse trap rap tracks with a slightly distorted background, which doesn't really help the track at all. And the last two tracks on the mixtape are two pretty hideous and goofy tracks where Drake tries to catch on this UK rap sound, and he does these really dumb accents. And I'm not saying that these UK accents are dumb. I'm saying that Drake, the way he impersonates these UK British rap accents, sound pretty goofy and hideous. Oh my days. Oi, bro, it's a Matt King in it. Yeah, it's pretty hideous. And then on the track Demons, we get this really consistent choir sample, which I thought was a pretty nice touch in the beginning, except the sample was there for the entire duration of the track, making it pretty annoying. And then we have the track War, which, if you don't know, is like a track released a few months ago. And it's a really unnecessary track, given that Drake is trying to reignite the beef between him and Pusha T, even though Drake clearly was defeated very brutally, given Pusha T's absolutely destructive personal diss track that utterly destroyed Drake to pieces. Yeah, but looking into the lyrics, it doesn't seem like Drake is addressing that beef anyways. It actually, nobody actually has an idea what Drake was trying to say on the track War. So yeah, overall, this is a really underwhelming album, or underwhelming mixtape in this case. A lot of the tracks are underproduced, underwritten. A lot of the tracks are boring. A lot of the features don't make sense, and a lot of the lyrics are just kind of weird. Yeah, my favorite track here is Landed, and my least favorite is the track Desires. I am giving Drake's Dark Lane demo tapes a decent to a strong 3 out of 10. Yeah. So, have you listened to the latest Drake mixtape? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like it, and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching. I will be reviewing a classic album tomorrow, and then I will review Quelly Chris and Chris Keys, Lido Pimienta, Future, Nav, as well as Danzig and Dope Body, and very soon Proto Martyr and Natalia Lafourcade very soon.